Welcome to the Q&A for Entre Perro y Lobo, which is part of the 6th edition of Neighboring Scenes, the annual showcase of contemporary Latin American cinema, organized by the Film Aldicon Center and Cinema Tropical. My name is Cecilia Barrio Nuevo. I am the co-programmer of this series together with Carlos Gutiérrez, and it's a pleasure to be joined by Irene Gutiérrez. So welcome, Irene.
Thank you, Cecilia.
Entre Perro y Lobo is Irene's second film after Hotel Nueva Isla. It premiered at the forum section of the 2020 Berlinale. And Irene, the film revisits the experience of Cuban ex-combatants in the Angola War. Although the war didn't take place so very long ago, the historical context surrounding it is not so well known. And I want to ask you, what inspired you to explore this topic?
Well, the first thing that it's what I have noticed when I was studying in Cuba, in the Cuban Film School, it was like every single man I was talking with, they were veterans of Angola's war. Even the director of the film school, the cookers, the bodyguards, everyone. They care. The one Albertico who is taking care of the swimming pool. So everyone was in Angola, but now they didn't like to talk about that much. So then I went to Sierra Maestra for an exercise included in the program of the documentary course that I was doing at that time in 2003. And then I met some of the veterans. It was a long time ago, but after Hotel Nueva Isla, I was thinking I would like to retake this topic because and on some point is the same topic that Hotel Nueva Isla is, like the failed project of a new Latin American man. So it's a diptych of the same topic. Both films are talking the same. And I say, okay, so let's go to Sierra Maestra now, probably 15 years later. Let's go there and let's start doing this film. But because also it's a reaction to Hotel Nueva Isla, I wanted to do something outdoors because with Javier we spent like 3 years indoors, and I would like to work with more than one character, like a choral film. So that was the two main decisions. And with the jungle as another character, which is very important, and this iconic and emblematic landscape, which is Sierra Maestra, like the starting point of the Cuban Revolution and all the story of the place.
Thank you. And how you decided whom choose to work with in this film? And this is one, because you met many ex-veterans of the war. And the other question is, what was the process of working with them?
Yeah, it was really good. I met a lot of veterans. I was talking with those veterans at the time in the film school, but when I went to Sierra Maestra, I found like a really different way of approaching this experience. All of them say, okay, if I have to go nowadays, if they ask me to go again, I will go again. It is very different, this position, than the others that would be, oh, maybe that was really hard. We haven't gotten what they promised to us. We are forgotten. So I think like, wow, there's really spirit of belonging and like the task of the revolution and like a meaning of life. So I decided to work there, and I made a lot of interviews of different veterans. But at the end, I choose Miguel, Estebita, and Santana, because Miguel and Santana were together in the same campament in the war, in the same mission. And Estebita also, they are friends, so they have a very good relationship. They live very close from each other, but also because especially Estebita, Miguel, they are kind of weird citizens or weird people. So they were like, these really strange people. They are crazy because of the war. And that is a good thing, because after the film was done, all the young generations in the town, they say, but they were soldiers, so they are not so crazy, they're really brave. So at some point they were more considered or differently considered. And also another thing was like the issue that Miguel is like the uncle of this the Bungo boy. So the sound recorder is the niece of Miguel. So they are all and also there are a lot of people from the Cuban crew that are related, like cousins, because they are small towns, so all our families. It was easy for getting the access to them and to their houses and have this kind of intimacy, which was very important at that time.
Yeah, there are some kind of intimacy, and at the same time, it seems like the film is more about a state of mind, about a psychological scar left behind by the war today. It feels at once very poetical and very political in both sense. And what was the intention in that respect?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because when I was there, they were talking a lot about the war. And for me, it was really good because I was learning a lot about the conflict that was completely unknown for me. So but after a while I said, okay, don't tell me about the war anymore. Just tell me about your experience. What did you feel there? What was your experience? What was the most painful thing for you? And some really funny stories too. Just tell me your experience. And at that point, they started to do a lot of trainings for me, like yeah, we did that and we did that and we were, this was the when we were hiding. And so at the end they said, okay, let's do it not from the words, not from the historical issue, but from the bodies and the experience, because at some points the words just, I don't want to make a feel like all people telling stories about the past. So let's make it together from the body and from the experience of the body and the wounds of the war in this movement. So what we did was to rewrite together the trainings. And not the rewrite, just talk about that the previous day or even the same day, like what are we going to do now? Like a lot of improvising. So they proposed like a kind of training and we did it. And it was very good because some things happens, what were happening during the film because of the state of mind, and also the training made possible to go in this state by the reenactment of the war, just to feel again these some painful chapters of those experience. So I think it was a kind of different approach from telling the whole historical issue, because for me the important thing was the present, what is happening today with those who went there, not the war anymore. The war is over, but now they don't have anything, but still they have this state of mind and these visions still of wars, and they talk about that all the time. So they have this kind of obsession. They watch films about the war, so they are in that mood still 30 years later.
Yeah, sure.
And it's a very paradox, because there was one thing that was very painful for them and very sad, but they feel proud of that. So this is kind of hate-love feeling. It's the status of mind that I like to explore through films.
Yeah. And I suppose that the experience you talk about, that they propose this kind of training in the jungle, and I suppose that the experience of filming in Sierra Maestra, which is such a mythical place, must have been very special and difficult at the same time. And how did you find the locations? And I would like to ask you if you can tell us a little bit about the challenges of shooting in such a landscape. No?
Yeah, yeah. I went to Sierra Maestra in 2003 to
Mm-hmm.
Televisión Serrana when I was a student. But afterwards, I made like I was there for 6 months to do specifically the casting and the location during the development of the project. So I was writing, and then when I got very close from these three protagonists, and the challenge of working there was not so much because we had the assistancy and the help, and also half of the crew was the people from the Televisión Serrana, which is an institution there of local filmmakers. They make short documentaries, and now I'm doing long feature documentaries. So we were with them. We were sleeping there in the cabins, and the wood cabins, and we also have a lot of we were sleeping in Santana's house for 1 week all together in the floor. So we made like a kind of family, and during the 2 months was a shooting length, we were conviving because we were together, sleeping together almost. So it was not difficult for that, but at some point I have to admit that the others that were not so long as I was in Sierra Maestra, they came like not really strong, and when they finished the shooting, they were like, yeah, we like to go with the mules, let's go with the horse. They were like walking a lot, like almost like warriors. After the shooting, all of us were like, yeah, because it was heavy in a physical way and even in emotional way. After 2 months, it was heavy a little bit, but it was a pleasure to.
Yeah. It's an unusual experience, probably for. And I would like to ask you about the scene of the reunion with the other war veterans. Is very powerful in the film, where there are this meeting, and how did you manage to bring them together and get them to explore such sensitive memories? Because I understand that with the treatment about the main characters is one kind of work, but in this meeting probably appear another kind of sensibilities, or I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely right. That's a good question too. It was not so easy because they belong to a different generation. So for the older generation that also are veterans, and they were fighting in independence, like like against Batista, the dictatorship, wherever they are, their fathers. Even Estebita's fathers is sitting besides him in the sequence. They are together. It's not the same approach, of course, so we have to be very careful. But on the other hand, we wanted this sequence to put this thing like in common, and to say this is a whole generation, there is 2 generations of veterans. So we want to show how important is this figure of veterans, like these ex-combatants, Cuban ex-combatants, that they belong to 3 generations and they are still alive. And they do this meeting every month. So for me was like, okay, let's do it. And I will propose the topics of the meeting. And they also propose some of the topics, so we did like a mix. And also in the middle of the meeting, we made this kind of intervention of Estebita, was kind of delicate because they didn't expect that, but we needed that kind of lamentation, or kind of we feel a little bit forgotten. What is happening with us? No, we are not asking for anything but to being considered. That's all. Even in a symbolic way, they are not asking for money, for anything, but we are here, we are still alive, and we did such a difficult and dangerous thing for this country, and a very far away country. So what's happened with that? And it was not so welcome. So, but at the end, they were really they really understood that we were not trying to put the finger on that, but to explain that this is this is an issue that we have to discuss. They wanted to discuss.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful scene in the film and deeply moved for sure. And has the film already screened in Cuba? And if so, what sort of reactions did it provoke?
Not yet in Havana Film Festival because it was delayed, and we don't know when it's going to be. But in the town, of course, they have seen the film, but I couldn't be with them because I couldn't travel there yet to Sirabaza. So they were like, "Yeah, we are together. We're watching the film. Yeah, it's a strange film. It's a strange one." Because maybe slow cinema, very like contemplative. They were expecting a lot of dialogues and like a more classic documentary. But I think we are not so bad actors. We are good. We are like nice acting, and yeah, we like it. We like it. So they watch. They have watched the film like at least 3 times. They make them like happy and proud of themselves, and even in the town, as I say before, the small generations nowadays, oh, you are an actors, you won an award, so now they are proud of the film and also of not just about being a soldier, but being actors and having some awards. Because for me, in my opinion, they are great actors.
Yeah, they're great.
I'm very bad with that. I know the fiction director, so they made a great job without my direction at all, or a little bit, no, but not so much.
Irene, my last question is, do you think that working on the film changed anything for the ex-combatants afterwards?
In a symbolic way, yes. Now they are considered like that, and also some people ask me like how they are, how they live. So because they were like unknown and completely lost in the mountains. So at that point, in a symbolic way, yes, especially in the town, yeah, they are now like well considered, because sometimes Miguel and Estebita, they drank and they were not so. They are singles. They are kind of messy. Old man, and they say now, okay, now they respect that they are not so like, okay, they did good, and they you have to be proud. They are artists. They say, you are artistazo. They say artistazo. So for me, it's like a pleasure to see that, and when they send me pictures of, it's like really nice, but just in a symbolic way. Nothing changing because this economic help won't come because Cuba is in crisis, so it's impossible. They are now struggling with a really hard crisis.
Yeah, sure. And are you working actually currently in another project, another film?
Yeah, my new landscape will be my original landscape, which is the border between Morocco and Spain in Ceuta, in the north of Africa. And I made my first short film there and some web documentaries. And I want to come back there, not very soon because it takes time, as you well know, but hopefully very soon.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Irene, thank you so much for the film again, and thank you for this great talk. And I'm sorry we couldn't all be together in New York, but we are very proud to be showing your film. So thank you so much again.
Thank you so much for this invitation. For us, it's a great US premiere, and it's beautiful that I be part of your program. Thank you so much.